Hello friends, welcome to UPSC Logics, and in this video we shall cover the Mughal Empire. So this is the part 2 of the previous chapter, and this again has been done in a one-liner format. So we shall be dealing with Akbar, Shah Jahan, Jahangir and various English East India companies that came into India during the 16th century. So some questions related to that. So without wasting any time, let's begin. Ras Tarangni was translated into Persian by Mullah Shah Muhammad. Who established the royal karkhanas for painting? Akbar. Who was a painter himself and loved to paint birds and animals? Jahangir. What was the actual collection from the land called Hasil? The efficient troops not under the control of the emperor were called the Ahadis. Jagirs that were given to the Mughal nobles were called al-Tamga. Commander of 100 was called an Amir. Who determined the number of cavalrymen in the Mughal ranks? It was the number of Sawars. What were the religious grants to the religious and educational institutions called Waqf? During whose tenure did revenue farming or Isra was started? Jahandar Shah. Which Sikh leader was captured and defeated by Farrukhsiyar? It was Banda Bahadur. Muhammad Shah's original name was Roshan Akhtar. Who was the Uzbek chief that defeated Babur and captured Samarkand? It was Shibyani Khan. Who was the historian to remark, he, referring to Babur, ruled over which did Royat yield sufficient income for the requirement of the army? It was Abul Fazl. Whom did Daulat Khan Lodi send to Babur to come to India? Dilawar Khan Lodi. Who was the first Indian ruler against whom Babur declared a jihad? It was Rana Sanga of Mewar. Which place is known as the gateway to eastern India? Chunar. Whom did Bahadur Shah depute to challenge Humayun? Tatar Khan, or Tattar Khan. Who was appointed by Humayun to look after Gujarat after his victories on Malwa and Gujarat? Askari. He was half brother of Humayun. What was the major cause of failure of Humayun against Sher Khan? His inability to understand the nature of the Afghan power. Which of the Sur rulers codified the laws and paid soldiers in cash? It was Islam Shah Sur, and he was the son and successor of Sher Shah Sur. Who were the officers working under the Shikdars? It was the Amils, Amins, and Qazis. About which conquest did Abul Fazl remark, so much plunder in jewels, gold, silver, and other things were taken that it was impossible to compute even a fraction of it? It was the conquest of Garh Katanga, and Queen Durgavati was the ruler. Why did Akbar revert to the system of annual assessment? Sher Shah's system of fixing a central schedule of prices often led to a consolidated delay and resulted in great hardships for the peasantry. So that was the reason why Akbar reverted to the system of annual assessment. What changes did Akbar bring in the land revenue system after 1573? He appointed karodis, and these were responsible for the collection of crore of dams, and these were appointed by Akbar. Who were the two nobles during Akbar's rule honored with the rank of 7,000? It was Man Singh and Mirza Aziz Koka. Who were the sons and grandsons of Bharamal? It was Bhagwan Das and Man Singh. Why did a serious revolt break out in Bihar and Bengal? It was in protest of some reforms made by Akbar. Which Rajput state had to be brought under direct Mughal administration? Marwar. Bihar and Bengal revolted during Akbar's time because of strict enforcement of the Dag system and strict accounting of income. What steps did Akbar take against the revolt in Bihar and Bengal? He sent Todamal to deal with Mirza Hakim. Why did Akbar send an expedition to Kashmir in 1586? It was for expansion of the Mughal Empire. Who was deputed for the conquest of the Deccan by Akbar? It was Khan-e-Khanum Munim Khan and Prince Murad. When did Akbar begin his Deccan venture? 1591. Whose death in 1595 provided Akbar an opportunity to intervene in Ahmednagar kingdom? It was the death of Burhan Nizam Shah. What were the terms of settlement of Chand Bibi in 1596? Chand Bibi agreed to cede Berar in return for recognition of the claims of her nephews Bahadur Nizam Shah, which was the last major military commander of Akbar or military command of Akbar. It was Asirgarh. Whom did Jahangir appoint to deal with the rebellion in Bengal? Islam Khan. Which areas were annexed to the Mughal Empire during the Bengal Revolt? Jessore and Kamrup. Who was made the joint Diwan by Jahangir in the first year of his reign? It was Itmaud-Dowlah. What was Akbar's foreign policy? A strong Iran, essential to check the Uzbeks. No desire to get embroiled with the Uzbeks unless they directly threatened the Indian possessions. Why did Mirza Suleiman sought refuge in Akbar's court in 1585? In 1585, Abdullah Uzbek captured Bakshan. The unit of land that was assigned to the Mansabdar in lieu of his land was called a Jagir or Tuyul. The hereditary possessions of the autonomous chiefs were known as Watan Jagirs. The book Nurya-e-Sultaniya was written during the period of Jahangir by Abdul Haq Dehlavi. The revenue payable by the cultivator was estimated on the basis of the past experience was called the Nasak. Cultivator and the official arriving at a general estimate of the produce of the whole area on the basis of sample survey by mutual agreement was called Kankut. In which year did Jahangir took over the throne? It was in 1605. Who was appointed as a joint Diwan before Jahangir's wedding to Noor Jahan? It was Itmaud-Dowlah, father of Noor Jahan. Who was appointed Khan-e-Saman by Jahangir? It was Asaf Khan, and he was the brother of Noor Jahan. With whom did Jahangir conclude peace in 1615? The ruler of Mewar is being asked, and he was Amar Singh. In what year did Jahangir's son Khusro rebelled? 1606. The Sikh Guru, who was also a well-wisher of Khusro, was beheaded by Jahangir. Who was he? Guru Arjun, and he was the fifth Guru. Shah Jahan took over the throne in 1627, and before that his name was Khurram, so he called himself Shah Jahan. Aurangzeb, Shah Jahan's son, was made the viceroy of four provinces from 1636 to 44. So the name of these provinces were Khandesh, Berar, Telangana, and Daulatabad. Aurangzeb's financial bickering with his father over land revenue collected from Aurangabad forms a large part of his correspondence called Adab-e-Alamgiri. Aurangzeb took over the throne in the year 1658. The reason kalema was banned or no longer stamped on coins was to prevent their defiling in the hands of the non-believers and the heretics. The celebrated Vishwanath temple of Banaras and Keshav Rai temple of Mathura were reduced to ruins during Aurangzeb's rules in 1669. Jizya was reimposed by Aurangzeb in the year 1679. Jahangir died in the year 1707. The reference of the Marathas and their country is found in the accounts of Al-Baruni 1030 AD and Ibn Battuta 1340 AD. Who are the historians who attribute the rise of the Marathas to their fortuitous circumstances? It is Grand Duff and Justice Ranade. Which were the tribal communities that inhabited the region of Maharashtra? These were the Nagas, Mundas, and the Bhils. These tribal communities were known by which name in the ancient times? Dandkarana. The Dutch East India Company was formed in the year 1602. The first factory set up by the Dutch was at Musulipatnam in 1605. Pulicat was the main center of the Dutch trade till 1690 and was replaced by Negapatam. The collapse of the Dutch came in the hands of the English in the Battle of Bedra 1759. The Dutch left India in the year 1795. The first English to arrive in India was a merchant adventurer called John Mildenhall in 1599. The English East India Company was formed by a group of merchants known as merchant adventurers in 1599. The charter for the new company was given by Queen Elizabeth in December 1600. The monopoly for the eastern trade was given to the company for 15 years. A fresh charter was given to the company before the expiry of the first charter by James I in 1609, and this gave them an unlimited monopoly to trade in the eastern region. When did Captain Hawkins arrive in the court of Jahangir to seek permission to open a factory in Surat? This was in 1609. The permission to open the factory in Surat or Farman was issued to the English after the defeat of the Portuguese at Battle of Swally in 1612. So the Farman was issued in the year 1613. Sir Thomas Roe arrived in the court of Jahangir as ambassador of James I in 1615. The first factories established by the English were at Agra, Ahmedabad, Bharuch by 1619. The first governor of Bombay was Gerald Oingar, and he was the governor from 1669 to 1677. Surat was replaced by Bombay as the headquarters of the company in the year 1687. The first fortified factory of the British was at Madras and was called St. George. The site of St. George was obtained by Francis Day from the Raja of Chandragiri in 1639. The first factory on the southeastern coast built by the British was at Muslipatam in 1611. Fort William was the name given to the factory established by the British at Sutnati, Calicut and Govindpur. So guys, these are the three villages at which the Fort William was established. Fort William was established by Job Charnock in 1690. The first president of Fort William was Sir Charles Eyre. The English were beaten by the Mughal forces under Sir John Child. However, were pardoned by the Empire in the year 1690 and a firman was issued for the same. The East India Company was converted into a joint stock company by a charter of Cromwell in 1657. The French East India Company was formed by Colbert under the state patronage in the year 1664. The first French factory to be established was at Surat by François Caron in 1668. The French factory at Muslipatam was set up by Marakara in 1669. The first governor of Pondicherry was François Martin. The Anglo-French conflict or the Carnatic wars took place after the arrival of Dupleix. The Danish formed an East India Company in 1616 and established settlements in Tranquebar, Tamil Nadu. They however failed and were forced to sell their establishments to the British in 1845. Who were the physiocrats? These were the French merchants in favor of free trade policy, which Europeans confined their trading almost exclusively with China, and these were the Danish. Who created the Madras Presidency as it existed till Indian independence? It was Lord Wellesley who established the Madras Presidency. So friends, this brings us to the end of part 2 of the Mughal Empire, and in part 3 we shall see the decline of the Mughal Empire and deal with some more questions related to the various companies that came into India. And thank you so much for watching. If you're a new subscriber, do like and subscribe to this channel. If you're an old subscriber, don't forget to press the bell icon. And thank you so much for watching, and Jai Hind.